All right, guys, here we go. Part two. This is Austin Holland, uh, Holman, Hollean. Um, so far, it was a really good interview, and I had to divide into two because I had to leave. But here's part two right here.
This is a great place to get away from that. And like I said, safety also adds to the peace of mind. I've walked around late at night, 3 in the morning. Now, there may be one part of the city, the 2 or 3 parts of the city you shouldn't do that in. Honestly, the only parts of town where it's going to be dangerous, you wouldn't even be over there in the first place.
Okay, so like I said, that's no different in LA. I mean, this parts of LA is generally safe. Of course, there's a couple of areas, but generally speaking, you're not. I'm not gonna get mocked, robbed, or anything like that. And for what he's talking about, it's probably safer than downtown because downtown we got the homeless, and I mean I know the homeless got their situation, got the issue, but at the same time, I don't think it doesn't seem like he's worried about homeless people or drug addicts attacking him. So, okay.
It's like saying like, oh, I don't want to move to Dallas because crime happens in Oak Cliff. Well, why the hell would you be in Oak Cliff? Unless if that's all you can afford. And most of y'all watching them are Americans, so I know y'all can afford $500 a month rent. This place that I'm at right here behind me is $850 a month. $850 a month. You can't hear anything but these birds chirping around. And
$850 a month, dude. $850 a month. God, I can afford that right now.
there's a gate to get in here, and there's a gate to get into the neighborhood. And I have to call to let the gate, whatever you call them, the security guard know, even though they've seen your face. Every time you come over here, I have to call to let them know that you're coming, even though they recognize you.
So there's places out here in Woodland Hills and Calabasas and Thousand Oaks where, you got a house like that, you got to call the security guard to let them in. I do DoorDash on the side, and I got to basically give my name, my information, and show them proof that I have an interview. I mean, that I have an order to drop off there. And when I do all that, the security guard calls them and says, "Hey, this is Pyerse. He's supposed to be here to drop a delivery." They let them in, and then after that, I get let in. Well, watch this. Those houses that I'm talking about in Calabasas and Woodland Hills, stuff like that, are no less than $1 million. So what? He's probably paying. If you're paying $1 million, let's call that a $10,000 to $20,000 a month U.S. month a mortgage. And this guy's talking about he's paying. And this guy right here, Austin, talking about he's paying $850. Man, beautiful.
It's annoying as hell, but when I think about it, it's worth it. You don't have to worry about it. You can go jogging back here. Don't worry, there's no lions or nothing running around the city like some of y'all think Africa is. Like, there's no lions and cheetahs going to track you down when you want to go jog. You can exercise just like you would in the United States without getting robbed. You could probably jog through Dallas and get robbed. That's not going to happen here.
You can jog anywhere and get robbed. So, I mean, and I mind you, obviously you don't go to a place where you get robbed or hurt or injured, but there's this narrative in America that you don't want to go to this country because something might happen to you. And you stop and thinking about it, you listen to this brother talk, it's like, he ain't saying nothing any different than the suburb in the United States. Like I said, so far, it sounds like Kenya, at least the area of Kenya he's at, sounds like a black Woodland Hills, like a black Calabasas, which is perfect for me.
What would you say would be the cultural challenges of the average American who would be interested in your material on YouTube will have trying to migrate to Kenya?
One thing that Americans have is we have a strong sense of not understanding that everything does not work the same way it does in the United States.
Right.
In East Africa, or I guess I should say the Swahili countries, they have this thing called Swahili time, where somebody's supposed to be somewhere at 5 o'clock, they'll show up at 9 p.m. Now, I said in Nairobi, that's very minute. Maybe it'll be 5:30. you know. But based off how the city looks, I base the culture off the development, right? When you go to a place and they're super corrupt, I'm kind of getting off topic, and they're super corrupt or they're very lazy and slow at everything, the country also looks like a shithole because they don't get anything done. That's why Nairobi doesn't look like a shithole, because stuff works. But everything does not work the same way that it would in the States. I just can't tell you what those things are because most things that I need in the States are here. But outside of that, like I said before, this is the least of a culture shock that I've gotten in Africa. Like, I don't see... Maybe you'll be shocked at how friendly people are. Maybe that's the culture shock.
So I can go there and not have too much of a culture shock. Okay, that's interesting.
You're in more of a collectivist society versus individualistic.
On that note, what would you say would be the practical tips for moving to Kenya and common mistakes to avoid?
Number one, you need to book a consultation. You do, because if you're planning to stay for longer than 1 month, I would not go with booking.com or Airbnb. I would get let me say, if you're staying 3 months or more, I would go get a lease, because I don't know if you pay month to month rental is probably not good. You're not going to save too much money. So
that means the Airbnbs and those hotels are paying U.S. prices. And so I need to go there and get a lease so that I can pay the Kenyan prices. Okay. And if I'm going to be there for 3 months, how long can you be there with a visa? Can you be there longer than 3 months with a visa?
2 months, you know, but 3 months, usually they allow you to sign a lease. So if I was to stay here for 3 months or more, I would sign a lease like I did at this place for the rest of the year. And
burnout. We all experience it at some point. It's so important to me that I've actually been working on it in therapy.
I would book a consultation and ask the questions that fit your needs. Are you looking to party all the time? Because maybe you want to stay more towards Westlands area. Or are you looking for, like where I'm at right now, where it's quiet, I'm far away from Westlands, but it's a little more... This is like more of a family-oriented place, and I stay back here.
That might be better for me. I mean, yeah, I'm a single guy, but I kind of like my quiet, you know. But then again, I don't be too disconnected, so I kind of like that. So I guess my thing is I would have to get a consultation, but honestly, I wouldn't get a consultation until after I spent the week there. Does that make sense to anybody? Anyone who's been to Kenya, let me know down below in the comments. Like, should I get a consultation when I get there? Before I get there? Like, I've never been to Nairobi at all. So should I just go there first? Yeah, I like it with a travel group, or what do you guys recommend?
Here, because there's too many distractions in Nairobi. If you want to come to a city where you won't get shit done, this is the city. You won't get shit done here because there's so many activities, so many parties, so many malls, so many women, so many friends, so many other expats. You can't get nothing. You have to have discipline. So make sure you keep that in mind.
On that note, what would you say would be your main focus of integrating into Kenyan society? Can someone do it? And if so, how would they go about doing that?
Learn Swahili. I don't know Swahili. Honestly, being in Kenya, I know that they would love it if you learned Swahili.
How hard is Swahili to learn, though? Like, can I just go get like a Rosetta Stone and learn Swahili that way? Do I need some YouTube videos? Like, how do I do that?
But it's one of those scenarios where I'm like, I could learn it, but I don't have to because y'all speak English just as good as I do. Now, when I was in Brazil, yeah, that English, you might as well forget about that. You need to learn Portuguese. But here, if you guys are looking to go somewhere where you don't need to learn English and you can still integrate and get along and understand the people just as much, because people love to say that y'all aren't really understanding the people if you don't know the language, which I could agree. If you're somewhere in Latin America or in Vietnam, I could get that because they don't speak English. They weren't colonized by the English either. But here is a place that used to be a British colony, and they speak better English than the other British colonies for some reason. I don't know why, but they speak better English. So It's just like moving to a very black version of America without the bullshit.
So what we talking about, like a Baltimore more or less, or like a? I mean, because so far, I mean, maybe 'cause I live in LA, I'm comparing to LA, but it feels like an LA suburb almost. Like it feels like a suburb the way he's talking.
Would you say one would need to learn the language to either adapt to the culture or build a network?
No, I don't think so. Because it's very easy to bump into high society Kenyans, and the expats generally here aren't assholes, so they will introduce you to the right people as well. So it's you. I have the biggest network in the world here in Nairobi.
Tell us about how you went about building a network.
Luckily for me, it was YouTube. So when I touch down in the city, people reach out to me. I heard you're in town. Let me introduce you to this person. Let's hang out here. But honestly, this is what goes into why I said book a consultation, because you need boots on the ground experience with somebody that is there, that knows people. For example, like my my tailor now because you know me, because I have boots on the ground.
That's right.
So it's important that you network with somebody that is already within a.
Okay, so the consultation is vitally important, apparently. So also what I'll get a consultation and then see what it's like. But so far, I mean, it seems like he's really selling me on Kenya. Really selling me on Kenya. Now I do want to check out some more countries, but he's selling me on Kenya.
Established network there, which is me. I have an established network here. Troy is I don't know what would you call it, but he's the guy that does all the entertainment. Somebody may be coming here looking to start a club, but he would be the guy for that. If you want to open up a club, he would be the guy that you need to host it. Host a party there. You only can get that with a network, but the first step is to come here. Don't think you're going to build a network off of Tinder and Bumble, or you need to
Okay, so in other words, Tinder and Bumble is the same as here in LA. Got it.
actually be here and be in these places. And the good thing about building a network is you can find Kenyans that are doing very well for themselves, and it won't cost you a lot. For example, if you want to go to a 5-star restaurant in Kenya, in the United States, you probably spend $200 by yourself. When here, that'd be more like $40, and you'll be around a different tax bracket of people,
Would you say your journey to building a network helped you to adapt to the culture? And if so, tell us about it.
Did it help me adapt to the culture? Kind of slightly. I mean, with the culture questions, it's just because I don't really feel too much of a shock here. Or maybe it's just my personal values, the way how I look at life and the things I desire out of life. They just have it here. So it wasn't really hard for me to integrate. I have a certain way that I look at life.
Wow, I like the fact that it wasn't hard to integrate. Now, I wonder how much of that had to do with him being a real traveler, though. Like for me, like I only been to 2 countries outside the North America. So, and I've been to Mexico before, but for a quick second. So I'm wondering if I'm not as well traveled as him, would I be able to make that same transition? Would I be as equally as comfortable with that as him? Plus, if I remember correctly, and I think this was more in part 1, he's been here several times before that. I want to say he'd been here 3 times before he settled on Kenya. So how much does that have to do with it as well? So I'm wondering if I came from like LA directly to Nairobi, would that be a culture shock? You know what I'm saying?
And things and values and morals that I stand for. And the United States wasn't that place for me. So when I go places, I'm looking at where do I feel like I fit in. And this was the best place that I fit in. And they speak English. So I don't really feel like I had to integrate in the culture too much.
Nice.
Tell us about how your services can help people adapt and come into Kenya the right way.
So what I provide is consultation services and basically a tour guide service. So first we would start off with a consultation at the booking link in the description in the first pinned comment, and you will speak with my assistant and he will see what you want.
So that's it right there. Hopefully it came up on the screen, but it should be this down here. I mean, services look great now, but I didn't know he was going to do a service review on here. I mean, and the link will be down in the description, and it probably is part 1 too. But I think the services are well worth to have.
And then we'll get on a consultation call with me, and from there we will organize a trip. If you are looking to come to Kenya, some people this might not be for everybody. That's why I say do the consultation call, and I will break it down, figure out who exactly you are and does this fit you. Because if Rwanda fits you, if you like Rwanda, if you like Rwanda or Ghana, I can tell you for sure Nairobi, Kenya is not the same vibe. It is not going to be the place for you. So we get on a consultation call. My goal is to figure out, do I even want you to waste your time coming here? Because this isn't for everybody. I don't know who wouldn't like this, but some people don't like this, especially people. If you're trying to get away from black people, this is not the place for you.
I mean, you're trying to get away from black people, you would be telling them going to Africa. Let's just be honest.
Because you're not going to get away from them. So we'll get on a consultation call and we'll talk about what your expectations are. And then we'll set up a trip where you will meet me in person. I will hang around. I will show you around to a thing like a safari, the Nairobi National Park safari, something like that. I will organize a few parties for you. We'll have our tailor come through and he will create outfits for you so you can look just as good as I am now, thanks to him. And we will organize even a trip to Mombasa, which is the coast, if you have that much time to stay. It all depends on how much time you have to stay.
Okay, I mean, that's actually a really good service. I kind of dig that service. Again, it's down in the description if you guys want it. I'm actually going to end the video here because I don't think it anymore. I need to do anything more on this. But this is an excellent. I love the fact this brother broke that down, what it's like to live there. And if his idea was to sell me, he sold me. He sold me. Definitely.
Stay as well. That's why everybody's